Daniel Jones released, New York Giants. Now they have a shot, especially if they lose to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, to get that number 1 pick. Or maybe it's a Sam Darnold. Who knows? Like, you tell me, where do they go from here?
Well, today was a turbulent day, but it was trending in this direction in New York. So they cut Daniel Jones, or he's released based on his ask. But I'll tell you, when they went to DeVito, and they went over DeVito over Daniel Jones and Drew Lock, there are a lot of people in the building shrugging their shoulders. But the way the front office sees it, and the way that the head coach sees it, and the coaching staff, he's 3-13 since he was inked into that new deal. They're 1-5 in one-score games. They've lost 5 straight games. Daniel Jones thrown a lot of turnovers, so they figured benching Daniel Jones wasn't going to be the most criminal thing in the world. The reaction seemed to be overblown about the benching. And then, Daniel Jones, to his credit, was like, all right, let me know what I can do, how I can help. I'll be in the quarterback's room. Tell me what I could do. And they're basically like, he's like, all right, can I play scout team? Can I play defense on scout team? And the risk of him getting injured and them being on the hook for $25 million if he got injured at practice, whatever, they basically said, let's just chill and let's go with these guys. And at that point, it was like, all right, I'm not coming in here just to hold a clipboard and sit. I got to be able to play. So Daniel Jones is going to get out. Now, look, he might still have a place to go this season.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones' story is interesting because remember we saw Baker Mayfield get released midseason, ends up with the Rams, wins a Thursday night game, wins a game on Christmas, and then has a chance to kind of revitalize his career before free agency. Maybe that's Daniel Jones this year. But your question about the quarterback position, it's amazing what a difference can make from a few different plays. Like last year, Tommy DeVito won 3 games. They were meaningless in the end. He beat the Packers on Monday night, and we had him and his agent and his dad doing the whole thing. If they don't win those games, they probably have Drake May or Jaden Daniels right now as their quarterback in New York. And if you watched the Hard Knocks show, Joe Shane was very open about calling those teams, both Washington and New England, to see if they could move up. Neither one of those GMs was willing to make the deal. I would look at the draft, and I would look long and hard at Shedeur Sanders. I would look long and hard at Cam Ward. I would think you've got a lot of different names that are popping up now as like the 3rd and 4th type quarterbacks. The Giants are going to cast a wide net. They're going to look at all of these guys. Now, Drew Lock is on a 1-year deal. I wouldn't imagine he's starting for them next year. Daniel Jones obviously isn't, and Tommy DeVito is not going to be the starter next year, week 1. So it's not the quarterback draft it was last year, which is not what Giants fans want to hear when they had the 6th pick and they didn't get a quarterback. But there is still some talent in this draft, and we still have the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Game, and then, of course, we have the Combine where these guys can shoot up the charts. But the early names, Shedeur Sanders, Carson Beck, Cam Ward, and I don't. The Ole Miss kid Jackson Dart is intriguing. Came out of USC in your backyard, and he's a name that's being talked about. But it'll be interesting what happens with the draft this year because it's not that Caleb Daniels, Drake May, those are 3 studs coming out of the draft. It's not that this year.
All right, Mike McCarthy, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin breaks the story. It's sourced. Deion would take it. What did you make of that? How did that land in NFL circles?
It landed like, hey, this is a real viable coach. What he's done at Colorado is no joke. And what he's done as a player to have the credibility. Now, the question is, when you bring in Deion, is your owner going to be comfortable if Deion's the face of the team? And I say that specifically about those guys. Now, I know that they obviously have a rich tradition and history together, Jerry and Deion. And, of course, I go back to the commercial where Deion was on the golf cart with him in like 1995 at training camp with Jerry doing an ad. Long history. Is Jerry Jones willing to cede the spotlight to Deion Sanders? Because Deion takes a backseat to nobody, owner included. I thought that was really cool that Michael Irvin revealed that and where he revealed that. Take a lot of pride in that we're a part of that story. It's really cool. It would have to be Jerry willing to hand over a lot of responsibility, a lot of microphones, and a lot of spotlight to a head coach, which has not been the case since Bill Parcells was there.
Yeah. Rex Ryan, I'm the only one on the planet. I think Rex Ryan to the Jets has to be taken seriously. He is a Jet. He's an alpha. We all laughed at Dan Campbell biting the kneecap stuff. It has absolutely worked. Vrabel's an alpha. Tomlin's an alpha. As the NFL gets younger, these guys that come in with a big chip and big confidence and are loud, don't just brush them off. Rex Ryan, any shot to be a Jet coach? You know, he got along with Woody Johnson.
You did. And you're not the only one who's rallying around Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's rallying around Rex Ryan. He's doing a bit of a media tour right now, and I appreciate it. I really do. He goes on Barstool. He's talking about how he wants to be the coach of the New York Jets. I think there's something really interesting here. Rex Ryan's not out there saying, I want to be an NFL coach again. He's not saying, I want to be a coach of the Bears. He's not saying, I want to be a coach of the Cowboys. Rex Ryan is saying something that does carry weight in New York.
Yeah.
I want to be coach of the New York Jets, specifically that team. And I think I can be the coach. Now, I would challenge that Rex Ryan, a couple years removed now from being a coach, and he was in Buffalo after New York, would have to assemble a really good staff. And he would have to have a really good offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. Now, our guy, Sean Payton, took the year off and worked at Fox with us. It was 1 year.
Yeah.
And I watched as Sean was watching games and was reaching out to contacts and was questioning me, was asking me, do I know this young guy on this staff? Hey, what do you know of this guy? And when Sean Payton came back, he was like, Davis Webb's going to be on my staff. Davis Webb, who had been in the NFL recently. Vance Joseph's going to be on our staff. He ironically interviewed Rex Ryan, but Sean was doing the work the whole year. I would ask that, is Rex coming back because he's like the Kool-Aid man and wants to barge through and storm the castle and be like, hey, we're coming in and I'm going to come in with bluster? Or does Rex have a plan with, here's my staff, here's how we're going to build this thing, here's some of the young coaches in the league that I can recruit? That's going to play a role. But you better believe that in that building, you say, I want to be coach of the New York Jets, not just I want to be an NFL coach again. That matters.
Yeah. No, I think it's got legs. I really do. It really is this weekend. And Schrager, I had said before the season, I thought Dallas and the Niners had peaked and would pull back. I didn't think they'd fall off a cliff. Dallas has. I do think if Brock Purdy plays, it's kind of put a fence around the team. I think they'll play really well in Green Bay. But Schrager, they look like Control, Alt, Delete, Reboot, Sabbatical. This San Francisco team, Schrager, they're getting old. They're beat up. If they lose this weekend, I feel like they got to take a swing and do something. They got to make a big move. What do you think it is?
If they lose, they'll be 5-6.
Yep.
Having lost to all three division opponents, and they've got 5 of their last 7 games on the schedule against teams with winning records. It's not the same team that came into Lambeau a few years ago on a Saturday night and upset Aaron Rodgers, and they had a giant boombox, and they came bumping into from the locker room, and they pushed them around, and Trent Williams was running in motion and just knocking guys out. It's not that team anymore. Now, Bosa has a hip injury and an oblique injury. I'll rely on Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady to tell me where they're at on Sunday and whether they're good to go. But I would say you look at that. You look at Purdy, obviously injured. You look at Trent Williams, who's been battling injuries, and who knows if he's going to go. Kittle missed last week. Like, this is what happens when you've got a team, and over 5 years they go to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game every year. At some point, these guys do get older, and it's not just, hey, rally around the troops. But if ever there was a game, they have owned the Packers in recent years. And they have gone into that building and won playoff games. And Shanahan was Matt LaFleur's boss for many years, and his father before him was his boss as well. Like, if ever there was a game that these veterans look at each other and say, hey, you know what? Do we want to be out of this thing before Thanksgiving, or do we want to go on a run? It's this one. I'm not trying to just hype this up because it's on Fox and it's such a big game for us. I honestly feel like this could be do or die, and it could be the end of the dynasty and the end of this era. And it would be such a shame if it went out with a whimper this season because there was so much expectation going into this year.
Sundays, 11 a.m. on Fox. Fox NFL Kickoff. I used to be on that show, and they booted me to the curb, and they put a real pro in there, Peter Schrager, a grown-up, an adult who knows stuff.
We miss you, dude. We miss you, bro.
I miss you guys. Great seeing you, buddy. Nice work.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.